New Year, everybody. Welcome to the Vinyl Jukebox. My name is Ben. In this video, I'm going to show you some of my recent CD and vinyl pickups from the past week. And I'm also going to show you my overall top pickups of 2023. Before we get started, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of content. So this week, like many others, I was off from work, which gave me a great opportunity to go record shopping, and it did not disappoint because I got some really great finds. So the first place I went to was Dark Side Records, which is located in Poughkeepsie, New York. They're a huge store. They have a great selection of new and used vinyl and CDs, as well as memorabilia. And I can honestly spend about an hour, 2 hours in that store every time I go, and I always walk out with something. So at Dark Side this time around, I only picked up CDs, but I had some great finds. So let's get started with the first pickup here. I picked up Lynyrdskynyrd, Last of a Dying Breed. Now, recently I've really been into Lynyrdskynyrds newer stuff. I consider them a completely different band, especially with the passing of all of their original members. But their new music is very interesting, very modern, very heavy country rock. And I really enjoyed, especially over the summer. Great pickup, and I'm excited to listen to it. Next pickup, Mickjagger's solo album, Wandering Spirit. This was a staple during car rides when I was a kid. My dad would always put this album in, but I never had a CD copy of it, and I saw it at Dark Side, and I had to pick it up. This one was produced by Rick Rubin, and what was really interesting while I was going through the liner notes is that I discovered that a lot of the bass on this album was actually played by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And this album also features Billy Preston on the clavinet on a few tracks. So really interesting. Billy Preston, if you didn't know, had a great solo career, but also played with the Stones for a lot of the 70s, opened for the Stones, and also played on albums like It's Only Rock and Roll and Black and Blue. So really cool pickup and really cool discovery that I made when going through the liner notes. Next pickup, Davidleeroth with Your Filthy Little Mouth. Now, Davidleeroth, I'm not too familiar with his 90s solo material, so I thought that this would be a great pickup to make. This album came out, what year did this come out? This came out in 1994, and I listened to a few tracks so far, and I was pleasantly surprised. I did not have very high hopes for this album. Just kind of picked it up to, see what it was all about, and it's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to digging a little deeper into this album. Now, I've been on a huge Ledzeppelin, Robert Plant solo kick lately. So I really wanted to pick this one up. Robert Plant, Fate of Nations. This is a 1993 solo album from Robert Plant. And I've really been digging his solo material. Not too much the 80s stuff, but definitely 90s and forward. Really cool stuff from Robert Plant. I think that he had a bit of a resurgence in that period. Haven't listened to this yet, but really excited to do so because it was recommended on a few YouTube channels that I watch. So really excited to get into this. Last CD pickup that I made was Pearljam, Lost Dogs. Got this one for a really good price. This is a double album set of rarities, demos, from the 90s. This was released early 2000s. Can't see a year right this second. But it just looked really cool. I've been really into Pearl Jam lately, trying to dig into their catalog. Don't know too much aside from the hits from them. So this was a really cool pickup. Excited to dig into this. Now, yesterday, I was able to go to the Westchester Record and CD Fair. This is held usually once or twice a year, but it's part of the same network of shows that the Second Saturday show in New Jersey is a part of. But I'm always excited to go to the Westchester show because it's literally 15 minutes from where I live. It's at the Tarrytown Marriott Hotel, and I always walk out of there finding something great. And this time around, I had some really, really great finds. On the vinyl side of things, let's take a look at my first pickup from the show. That would be Billiondollarbabies, Battle Axe. Now, if you don't know Billiondollarbabies, but you recognize the name, it's because this is basically Alicecooper's band, the Alicecooper band, the original Alicecooper band, but without Alice Cooper. So after Alicecooper left to do his own solo career, Billiondollarbabies was formed, and this is a really, really rocking album. It had been recommended to me, and I'd seen it on a few channels, and I decided to pick it up, and it did not disappoint. Cool thing about this one is it is a gold stamp promo. There's the gold stamp. And it's also white label. So I need to put this in a polyline sleeve, but there's the white label on Polydor. And I listened to this yesterday. Fantastic, fantastic album. Basically sounds like exactly like it is. Alicecooper band without Alice Cooper. So really cool stuff. This next pickup I was really excited about. This is the Rolling Stones Flashpoint. Funny enough, this is the first Rolling Stones live album that I ever bought as a kid on CD. But I was excited to find this on vinyl because you don't see this too often. This one had the hype sticker and it's still in the shrink. Thought it was sealed at first because these single albums, when they're still in shrink, sometimes it looks like they're still sealed, but it wasn't. Got this for a really nice price. Fantastic, fantastic live album. I actually haven't listened to it in years, so when I put it on yesterday, I'd forgotten how good it was. And it has 2 studio tracks at the end of it that I totally forgot about as well. That would be High Wire and Sex Drive. So really awesome live album from the Stones. Excited to make this pickup. Lastly, from the record show, I've been looking for this one for a while. This one is DonHenley, The End of the Innocents. Now, I did not get this album because I'm particularly a huge DonHenley fan, but my favorite band being GunsNRoses, I had to pick this up because Axlrose is featured on one of the tracks. So I'm trying to pick up anything GunsNRoses related all the time. And this one is surprisingly really hard to find, I think because it came out at the end of the 80s. CDs were coming in, vinyl was phasing out. So this one's surprisingly hard to find, but I found it for a really nice price at the record show. Very excited to add that to the collection. All right, so now we move to part 2 of this video, my top pickups of 2023. Now this is spanning from January to now. I'm not doing this in any particular order, but these are pickups that I was really excited to make. That I've been looking for a while and have been great additions to the collection. So first pickup that I would like to show you guys is Slash featuring Myles Kennedy and the Conspirators. I mentioned how I'm a huge GunsNRoses fan. This is my favorite Slash solo album that he's put out. Had this on CD for the longest time, the regular edition, deluxe edition. Found a copy of this on vinyl, pretty rare to find. This one is on red and white vinyl. I can pull out the red real quick for you to see. There we go. Really amazing album. Excited to add it to the collection. Next up, Iggypop, Lust for Life. Now, I've been looking for a really great copy of this for a while. I happened to find a gold stamp promo copy, and I do love my gold stamp promos. And this copy was in fantastic shape for a really good price. Surprisingly, it's a pretty tough album to find in good shape, and an original copy, it's more rare than you would think, especially because it has a couple of hits on it. But really excited to add this to my Iggy collection. It was one of those pieces that I was missing for a while, so super excited to add this in. The next pickup, was very surprised to find this one. Found this at a used bookstore that kind of dabbles in vinyl, but vinyl is not their main sell. But every once in a while, I find absolute gem grails in this store. That would be Metallica, Ride the Lightning. This is a gold stamp promo edition, white label. This was a amazing find. I was so surprised to find this. It had a sticker from the store that it was originally sold in. It had a couple other things on it. I cleaned up the cover pretty nicely. And this album was in great shape. Great shape. VG Plus to near mint. Amazing. One of my favorite Metallica albums. Very glad to add it to the collection. At the same store, I always go through this bin. They have a bin behind the register, and you have to ask to see this bin, but they usually have their more high ticket items in there, more collectible items. I was looking through, and anytime you see a copy of Led Zeppelin 2, you always have to check to see if it is an RL, and this is indeed an RL copy. I was super excited to find this, not only because it's an RL, but because it was in fantastic condition. The gatefold on this, beautiful. And it's one of those albums that I almost screamed when I saw it. It was there for an amazing price. Like I said, this store does not really dabble too much in vinyl, so the guy just prices to sell. And it was an amazing pickup, and super surprised to find it, but just goes to show, whenever you find a copy of Led Zeppelin 2, always check to see if it's an RL. All right, everyone, so my last top pickup of the year is also my biggest in size pickup of the year. So let's move over to a different part of my music room and check it out. All right, everyone, finishing up my top picks of 2023 list is, you guessed it, the GunsNRoses Locked and Loaded Super Box Set. And I'll also add on the Use Your Illusion box set as well. These two were huge wants for me over the past couple of years, and I finally picked them up. Was super excited about them. I'm a huge Guns N' Roses fan, so these were pieces that I needed to add to my collection. So I'm not gonna go through the whole box set, both of them, but I'll give you a quick overview. Maybe I'll save a tour for another video. But as you guys can see, we have drawers, we have a book, we have LPs, CDs, 45s, trinkets, just so much great memorabilia in this box set. It is very heavy. The cross on the front is hand painted. Really cool box set. I was super excited to add this to the collection. I'll definitely do a video on this some other time, going into detail on what is specifically in the box set. But for any Guns N' Roses fan, this is a must-have. As for the Use Your Illusion Super Deluxe, it's very heavy as well, so I'm not going to pull it out all the way. But as you guys can see, it's got the great cover art on the front, and it's got a little bit of a, I guess you would call it a hologram kind of design, to where you could see one Use Your Illusion cover, and then if you move to the other side, you could see the other. But this one's great. It has 2 amazing live shows included, an amazing book, some memorabilia. So those were 2 of my big top picks for the year. All right, everyone, so those were my top pickups of 2023, as well as some recent pickups. Please feel free to write in the comments section, what are some great pickups that you've had recently? What were your top pickups of 2023, whether they be CDs, vinyl, music memorabilia? Let me know in the comments below. All right, everybody, have a great New Year's. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.